Hello and welcome to today's video. It's another sunny day to present this to you, and quite appropriately the sun is shining. Today's topic is going to be light. So I'm sitting near the river in the Waikato again. That's probably my last video from this area, and then I'll be moving on. And just at the outset, I just wanted to read out a quote that actually just popped up for me today for the first time, and I'll read it out. It's from a Afghan-American author by the name of Khalid Hossein, and he said, "I suspect the truth is that we are waiting, all of us, against insurmountable odds for something to happen to us." So almost saying, you know, we might just be waiting in life for things to happen, and you know, hoping that something extraordinary might turn up, or something that's going to have a profound effect on us. And for the majority of my life that certainly was the case, I think. I mean, I was searching on the earthly plane for certain things, just maybe more excitement from that material physical plane, without really reaching out to what's available. I got on my path, and I guess getting on the path is really what makes things happen. I've talked about that a lot. And of course, I've talked about light a lot. So I'm going to try and just sum it up into a relatively short video as to some thoughts on that. And at the outset, you can see that I'm wearing my Peruvian football shirt, which very significant. My trips to Peru last year, just most incredible impact upon me. And just again, the white representing the white light. The gold trimming. One of the things that I do express in my writings and in my life is that I'm a carrier of the gold, and that is literally carrying things that I can share. So experiences, and maybe some knowledge, maybe the ability to channel some information, and I'm very fortunate that that is what I am. Also notices the red in the jersey, and I thought about that this morning, and the red is the root chakra. So again, that's symbolic of the need to stay grounded. So I've spoken about the higher realms, but one can't just live their life in the higher realms. We live 24 hours a day on the earthly plane while we're in this incarnation. And it is imperative that we integrate learnings of all sorts back into our daily life. And for me, the integration of my learnings from the higher realms is so important to me. These are very profound, outstanding, extraordinary things that I've learnt, and I need to bring them back into my day-to-day life. And the fact that I can do that means that my life is actually wonderful. Just another thought that came to me this morning about light. So I was baptized a Roman Catholic and brought up, certainly for the first part of my life, as younger years, as a Catholic, and I attended a Catholic school. We were taught by nuns, and tying light into that faith, we could relate that to the Bible. And the Bible, the first aspect of the Bible, or the first creation that God is noted for, was He created light. So even the Bible, of a religion that sort of it's been around for a few thousand years, talks about the light as being literally at the beginning. Now, I'm not an adherent to any religion. I'm an adherent to spiritualism, and spiritualism encompassing the fact, from my perspective, it's the fact that everything emanated from the light, which is the eternal source, or the eternal light, and that all religions, whether it be Catholicism or any of the other religions that have come subsequent to that, or been formed subsequent to that, are all subsets of that initial light. So that's sort of where I sit in terms of such things. But there's always suggestions, of course, in any of these religions that we did come from a source. So I'll just get into more about the light and how it's directly impacted on me. I am on a mission. I am a dispeller of darkness, which is the literal translation of the word guru, dispeller of darkness, and I'm nobody else's guru except my own. I have dispelled my darkness, and I'm a holder of light. And the reason I hold light is because the darkness is gone, and also tying into that, I've been fortunate enough to have some direct experiences with regards to light. So it's not only that I've gone and found the things that have brought me light, I've actually seen the light. So when I use the symbology of Gnostic Universal Realms Uncovered, which the acronym is G.U.R.U, that's exactly what's happened for me. The Gnostic aspect is the gnosis, the actual experience that proved to me light exists. The universal, so we talk about universal, I'm actually wearing my buff that I use to represent the universe. And if we think about the universe, I was looking up some stuff from Carl Sagan, who was an astronomer and planetary scientist kind of back in the 70s, and he had suggested that based on his hypothesis, is that there's more stars in the universe than there are grains of sand on all the beaches on Earth. And that's been expanded upon a little bit by scientists since then, and some say that there's 9,000 stars for every grain of sand. So, sort of like, for me, my prior being in this incarnation was very, very sheltered, or very, very constrained. I mean, I was looking at things from an earthly basis, and I was really looking at the things around me, or the things that were comfortable for me, or the things that were habitual or common. I wasn't looking beyond those, and it's kind of, looking back on it now, it's kind of insanity that I was in that situation. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, it was my life, it was all I knew. But when you can just get some understanding of what the universe is all about and the vastness of it, then it's impossible to think that those things that one is used to are the only things in life, the only ways of thinking, the only doctrines, the only written knowledge, or the only knowledge of mankind. It's unlimited, it's infinite. So that's why I use universal in my symbolism. Realms is in the symbolism, and that's because I have visited realms, I have seen realms, I've experienced realms. So the higher realms I talk about a lot, and the various ways that one can get to those realms. I was actually in a crystal shop this morning, quite a large one, with a lot of spiritual products in there in Hamilton, and I met the owner. He's a gentleman probably well into his 70s, and he had travelled the world, and he'd been to Peru, so we had something in common there, and I started chatting to him, and we were talking about the various ways we have experienced the realms, I guess, and his way was meditation. And I've spoken about meditation being probably the most profound way that one can experience the realms, or these other things that I talk about. I talked to him about the fact that I'd been to Peru and tried the plant medicines and the medicines of the country. His learnings, or his belief, was not to use those, and I say to anyone, do not try, do not force anything that does not align with your being. There is just a multitude of ways to get on a path and just find out what's out there, find out what's in the universe and these realms. And then that last word, uncovered, of course, well, I've been uncovering lots. So I'll talk really briefly about the light now. So the light, just so many experiences on that. I mean, I spoke about colours yesterday, and of course from all the colours comes the white light. And in prior videos, and certainly in my writings, I talk about the light and seeing it, and really I saw it through a few specific examples. I now see it through meditation. So that when I spoke about activating my third eye chakra some videos ago, which is that indigo light, regularly when I'm into deep meditation, a light shines through that, and at times I elevate towards that light. That's just a very brief description of some of the things that happen in my meditation. So the light's there. When I was experiencing my ceremonies in Peru in July in the Amazon, I recall one of the first things that happened was I was staring out the windows of the circular Maloka building that we were in, and we were on the outside circle, and one of the first things I remember was that the jungle came to light. So it came to life, and the way it came to life included light. So there was lights in the jungle. So light shines through everything. I was seeing it. The most profound seeing of the vivid white light that exists. So this is my belief as to when I was exposed to the source, was the Sapo experience, when I briefly talked about that in a few videos, and I spoke about it at my Sapo experience in a video where I'm wearing the same shirt. That goes back a few weeks now. It was the brightest, most illuminated white light that was in the vision of what I was having at the time. So when people talk about the near-death experiences and seeing the light, or enlightenment, or that spiritual revelation of seeing the light, that is exactly what I did. I saw the light. There was another example of seeing the light when I saw it in my ayahuasca experience in November 2025 in the Sacred Valley. So I returned, did one ayahuasca experience, and part of that experience, which I've spoken about in my writing, Return to the Light, was that I was in an Egyptian underground chamber. I spoke about this a few days ago in a video, and I was in the presence of Osiris. So Osiris, the god of the underworld, the god of the afterlife, the god of the resurrection, the rebirth. And the scene in there, while it was clearly Egyptian in terms of the imagery, I did not see Osiris. I saw a burning white light in the illuminating the scene, and I knew I was in the presence of Osiris. So all of this sounds, you know, wow, he's off on doing something, and he's got there. And I got there through getting on a path. It wasn't an easy path. In fact, prior to getting on the path, or consciously getting on the path, I guess I was always on the path, but prior to consciously getting on the path, I was paying quite a cost. There was a lot of stuff in my life: conflict, depression, darkness, attempts, energy used up on the wrong things. When I say the wrong things, the things that brought me darkness, even though I was looking for the light, I was looking in the wrong place and finding darkness. There was a cost involved. Just really looking back, for the vast majority of my life, it was kind of dark, and now it's totally light. So I've flipped on the polarity. I've moved on the polarity from the darkness to the light. So I've talked about polarity before, and what I would say is that the cost and the discipline, but the cost of reaching the light, which was immense, was all worth it. At the time, one wondered, why am I going through this? Why am I having to pay this price or this cost? And where's the end? Where is the light? I didn't quite think about it in terms of where is the light, but I think I was like that quote I quoted at the beginning. I was kind of waiting for the light to turn up and come and knock on my door. And it was only when I started moving on a path that I ultimately was so fortunate that I'm one of the ones that has seen the light. Now that's not to be conceited, because everybody's where they are on their journey, and we all need to just be happy in our lives and enjoy our lives and bring no harm to anyone. And in a way, that's what I was trying to do previously, but I can tell you there was no way that I could say I was 100% of the time perpetually in the light and 100% of the time enjoying my life. And yet now, with the freedom, the peace, the light that comes to me, the experiences, the synchronicity, everything that turns up, I am actually in that perpetual state, and I do not miss the prior state of being. I don't wish to return to that. There is no point returning to that. I don't need material things, even though at the time I was possibly did. So there's a lot to be said for being in the light. I hope we all are in the light. I wish that upon everybody. The purpose of this video, or these videos, and my writings is to expose the light. It's not to tell people how to get to the light. Everybody can be their own guru. I truly believe that. The dispeller of their darkness, and finding the light and moving towards things that bring them light. And in my case, I experienced things that showed me the eternal light. So I hope that's brought some enjoyment and happiness to your day, and of course light. As always, I'm going to be making more videos as I move on my journey. I thank you for listening. I ask if you can enjoy the journey. We will meet when we should. And namaste.